Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. The purpose of the speech is for the speaker to be a gentleman. The member must clearly define how Toastmasters envisions mentoring. The purpose of this speech is for the member to share some aspect of a previous experience as a protege. The time is 5 to 7 minutes, and I believe you have the time.
Thank you. I hope this speech is about what I think it's going to be about. Ladies and gentlemen, our next speaker, Bertus Theron, with the title Always More to Learn. Always More to Learn, Bertus Theron.
You get the job, but you get the opportunity to grow. So what happened is this number started to grow. Ultimately, after a few years, we had about 100 teams playing in 25 schools playing. Initially, I was responsible for only that one event, but they came and saw, oh, this helps their job. We call it the Zone Festival, which they have to hold every year for all those schools and all those kids. Now, the way this mentor, Paul, worked, or first of all, my friend worked, was nudging me to actually take on the responsibility when they asked me to become more involved. And they went with me, and we kind of explored such a sports event. It was with TUT, Tshwane University of Technology, because they have big fields, and all the kids from the whole of Northern's cricket union region went there. Now my zone, which became my zone later, was only a portion of that. And the guy that was involved there his name was Paul. He, first of all, he started by pulling me in to help with the coaching clinic early in the season. That way, I presented some part of the presentation. Some later years, I became the presenter of the full coaching clinic, at least the theoretical part, because my cricket skills is next to none. But I could present this and I could lead this, and I was mentored into that by this Paul, who drew me in, nudged me, and eventually after a few years he withdrew, because he had to withdraw. He was a volunteer and his kids were long out of school. Okay, my kids were long out of school also by that time. But one of the things that I learned there and that I've heard about earlier is what the mentor should be doing is to say, okay, I'll do it and you watch. So this happened in my experience. I had to watch initially and did only a small part. That's what happened later. Did only a small part. Then eventually the mentor stood back and he said, okay, Bertus, now you do everything and I watch you and I just give you advice. And then after another year or two, the mentor withdrew completely because he had too many commitments, and ultimately eventually they moved away out of Pretoria. So this was a very positive experience for me. I learned things that I didn't know before, and by the way, one of the things that I benefited is I brought a Protea cricketer. I actually helped grow a Protea cricketer, a female player, Sunaylish, who played at events that I arranged. So that is nice and very, you feel proud to do that and having known them. And so I've benefited from that. I think I've learned to work better with people, not only via that, but Toastmasters and our church is further contributors to helping me to grow those skills and be able to do with confidence between those people. And to with confidence do these things, taking on the challenges of being involved in huge events and doing things that maybe initially I cannot